So we're getting ready to install the transmission onto the chassis. First thing we're going to do is we've got a couple of brackets up here. One of those is a measuring tape, not a bracket. There's a cushion, bolts onto the transmission itself, and then two holes there take screws from the bracket that goes to the cross member. There it is. So this cross member, the slanted part goes towards the engine. The reason I know that is I've lined up these holes in the mount with this side of the bracket. That is what fits. The other side does not. So this part goes underneath the cross member. So I'll get those two things bolted on first, and then we'll figure out how to safely lift the transmission. So Silver Sport did a pretty nice job of labeling their stuff. Here's a packet here. It says Perch to Cross Member Hardware Kit for GM A41 and TKO C3 Perch to Cross Member. So no confusion about what you're supposed to use to put this perch on with. I'm going to just put it in hand tight for now because I want to be able to move it as I try to align the transmission with the engine and everything else. I'll be working upside down here, so it's going to be purely by feel. Probably have to get rid of the gloves, even though it's pretty cold out here. I don't think it's 40 degrees yet, so that's a little less comfortable than I'd like. So I'll get the bolt set up first. I would actually like to see a bigger washer there because the slot's pretty wide, but it's what they give you. And then after I'm done bolting this on, the next thing I'm going to do is bolt the transmission mounting pad onto the transmission so that whenever I set it in place, the only thing I'll have to do is run two bolts through these holes into the transmission mount pad. That might be a little too tight. I could still move it, but once I get the weight of the transmission on it, I'm not sure. But I can always loosen it. Okay, we're looking at the tail of the transmission there. That's where the isolator goes. I guess I gave Silver Sport too much credit too soon, because this says isolator to crossmember hardware. Notice it does have larger washers, but the reason I think I gave them too much credit too soon is because that isolator doesn't really bolt to the crossmember, it bolts to the perch. So there is a little bit of confusion there, but I think I've got it right. Here I have isolator transmission. So there's the isolator, there's the transmission. I'll get that set up. Well, let's go for the far one first. I don't know if that's the right idea here, because maybe if I put the close one in first, it might be easier to get to the far one. I'm fighting with this plastic. Yeah, I'm going to do the close one first. Fighting with this plastic that it was wrapped in, because I haven't lifted the transmission yet to get it off of it. This one doesn't have a whole lot of play, a whole lot of wiggle room for adjustment. It does have some. So probably could tighten that up, but I think I'm going to have a shot at it with a socket and an extension. I think it'll clear the mount for it. So try to get my hand in behind here and get the other bolt in. I guess most times you'd do this job, you'd have this transmission up under the car before you did this. So what I'm going to try to do, and this is part of the reason to put this isolator on first, is it seems I have nice holes to attach the leveler that I used on the engine up at the front of the transmission, but there's nothing in the back that is a nice hole. There's one hole here. I'm not sure. Not sure I could lift it and keep it level if I just use that to support the tail end, because it's going to have to be level to bolt up to the bell housing. But what I will do, I have a shorter one of these. No, that is my short one. What I'll do is I'll run this underneath in front of the isolator so that I can hook these hooks. I know you probably can't see that now that I'm thinking about it. Nope, probably weren't seeing that. So what I'm probably going to do is take these hooks and hook them onto the leveler. And then by doing that, I should be able to lift this up and have some control over leveling it. I need to get this taken up some. When I lifted this out of the crate that it came in, of course they had it packed in such a manner that the crate had to be undone before you could get out the unpacking instructions. And I tilted the transmission too much, and fluid ran out the back all inside that plastic. So I'm gonna have to get probably another quart of transmission fluid to put in there before before I can start it. So the front here is where I have nice hooks. Or I shouldn't say hooks, I should say holes. Put my chains in. And then I can attach them to the leveler. That should work nicely. And then, as I said, these other two hooks to the leveler. So, you saw me put that one on. I'm going to go ahead and just attach the other one on the other side. You won't be able to see it anyways. I'll zoom in where I attached that. But I'll be attaching it the same way. I'll be attaching that the same way on the other side and then hooking up the leveler. So I'm going to shut the camera off for a while I do that. So there is the transmission. It is facing the I'll call that the back of the barn, or the shop. This used to be a barn until I converted it to a shop. And the chassis is also facing the back. So the problem is, the way this guy is set up right now, if I just pick that up, turn it around, and wheel it over, my transmission's going to be pointing towards the front of the shop. So I'm going to try to and I'll show you how right here. Before I hook this up, I'm going to twist the hook a half a turn. And then I'm going to make sure that stays that way so that whenever I pick it up, I can twist it back that half a turn. We'll see how that works, because I haven't done it. And unfortunately, the way this hook matches, it's really 90 degrees, in my opinion, from ideal. So it's really going to want to face sideways anyway. Okay, so hopefully I have enough height here in the shop without hitting any lights or anything. Because all this lifting apparatus just means I have to raise that that hoist up higher in order to get it off of the bench here. I got it on, but I had a different lifting plan when I put it on. Try to stay out of the way while I hook these up to this other end of the leveler. Okay, let's see what that gets us. I may have to adjust that leveler to get it to lift. Looks like I'm going to have to adjust it a long ways, I think. So the back end wants to come up first. So I need to move that. Well, let's see which way I have to move it. And again, I hope I'm not standing out of the way. That's going the wrong way, so we need to tighten this up this way. I don't really know how much height adjustment this will give me. Am I going the right way? Can't really tell. I might be going the wrong way here. Try the other way. So if one way doesn't work, it's got to be the other way. Yeah, I think the back end's coming down now. Doesn't move all that much with a turn. That's why it was hard to tell. Couldn't see it lifting it. Just felt like it was getting further away. Yeah, that's definitely going the way I need it to go to level it now. It's actually getting a little bit loose on the run this the other way. I'm going the wrong way again. Uh-oh. Now the tilt is such that I'm starting to run into these hooks. I should have put them on the other direction. I think I will lower it and do that. The other thing I think I should have done is turn the hook the other direction, because now it wants to spin with the long end toward the wall there, and it's going to be easier if I spin it the other way. So I'm going to turn that around one full turn at the hook there. Turn those hooks in the back so that they're not running into my handle where I'm trying to adjust the thing. Bring it down more. Half a turn. One turn. Hook these the other direction so that it's not running into the handle. Okay. There's a couple more things I'm going to have to do. It says to put some grease on the front of the, there's a kind of nose on the torque converter so that it slips into the, and now it's spinning the way I want it to go. Some grease on the nose of the torque converter so it slips into the end of the crankshaft easier. Oops. Got a notice here, don't use power tools on that. And then the torque converter itself needs to be there's a bracket holding it together. Holding it in position. They tell you not to remove that until you're ready to install it, because they don't. It has to be indexed correctly. I guess they index it correctly whenever they ship it. So. Now that I've got this up off of the bench, moving it, I'm going to have to shut off the camera and move it because it's in the way where I have to push the transmission. Okay, so this nose is what they want you to lubricate so it slips in easier, and this bracket needs to be removed prior to installing it. So I will shut the camera off, get it out of the way, and push the transmission over near the engine, and then I'll be back. I'll probably grease up that nose first because getting grease on my hands and then trying to play with the camera is probably not the best idea. But I'll be back whenever I have the transmission moved over to the chassis. So this bag was attached to the front of the bell housing, and it's got an O-ring. I don't know, looks like maybe some sort of a seal, and 2 bolts that are pre-covered with some Loctite, looks like. And I can't find any reference to them in the instructions, so I put in a call to Silver Sport Transmissions to find out what that is. In the meantime, I think I'm going to proceed because I don't think that that's inside the bell housing. So I'll be taking off that bracket, and I see a potential issue here. Not sure, when push comes to shove, that I'm going to have clearance between the bottom of this bell housing and this leg of the hoist. So as I get it down there, I may have to actually jack up the frame of the car and the engine to get it up high enough to clear that leg. So for now, I'm going to find a wrench that fits that bracket and take it off. So it looks like the one end of the bracket that bolts into the torque converter is a metric 15. The other is a bolt through where it attaches to the bell housing. Or to the back of the engine. The bolt is actually, that one's a 9/16. And when I give these sizes, it's the wrench size, not the bolt size. Almost forgot that the video is running, and I'm ready to start dropping this into place.